what made you decide to leave corporate America and take that leap?
I wish I can say it was planned, but it really wasn't. So after working at this particular company for right about 5 years, once I got into it, I loved it. I loved what I did. I loved the environment. And so in my mind, I was going to work really, really hard and I was going to be the next CEO of this company. Well, after about going through three different positions of not getting promoted for it, I was like, you know what, this is just not for me. I need to figure out something else to do. And at the time, my spouse worked full time, was also an entrepreneur. And so I got a little taste just from working in the background, helping him. And so a colleague of mine had a janitorial franchise that he was working part time as well as working full time. And so that was my first introduction into being an entrepreneur.
Okay, so we've all had this journey of different businesses as we, as
Mhm.
we like to got on this path. You started out in janitorial. Now, I've heard people who have started out in that space, and they were like, that is one of the hardest spaces ever because it's hard to find good talent, good workers, good partners, whatever you want to call them. It's just hard. What was your
Yes.
experience like when you did that business?
Exactly that. And not only that, I had commercial contracts. So one of my worst contract was working at a truck stop.
Mm.
Whew. When I tell you that was not pretty, it was not pretty. And so, yes, if you're trying to hire someone and then you tell them the type of contracts you have, especially a truck stop, who wants to go and clean that area?
Yeah.
And if anyone that knows me, they'll know I'm surprised she even did janitorial because I can't see her actually going and clean somebody else's toilet. But again, it wasn't so much of me actually doing the physical work. My mindset was always I was going to hire someone. But again, as an entrepreneur, that's easier said than done. Usually, what you have in your mind is pretty much not exactly what happens.
Not at all. And here's the thing: when you're just starting out, it's you and you and you and you
Exactly.
you. And so
Exactly.
I heard someone say one time they had a cleaning company too, but it was like a home cleaning company, which I was like, yeah, that definitely probably wouldn't work for me.
Right.
They were saying that they had to actually go in and physically do the work when people called out. And I
Mhm.
was like, so how does that work? That's like, what do you mean I got to go do the work? And I was like, ooh, that sounds like a lot right there. So I totally understand that. Now you decided to leave that business.
Mhm.
And what was your next venture?
My next venture after that was going into real estate. Again, now you're going from cleaning, someone's commercial property to now, okay, real estate sounds more sexier. You can sell houses, you can show property. You definitely are not going to get dirty for this job. You actually dress up. But again, I am not originally from Georgia. So what people don't tell you is that you kind of have to have some type of clientele. Well, because I'm not from here, I didn't have one. So what ended up helping me is doing cold call, and that is not easy at all. So I got into real estate. I did okay with that, but just like everyone else, I got into it at a time where the market was changing. I got into real estate in 2005, and by 2008, the market was pretty much almost rock bottom. So once again, I found myself like, crap. Now this is business too. What is next? What am I going to do? And that's pretty much, what happened with me with real estate.
The real estate market, people think it's sexy. I went to go take my license because I was going to be a real estate investor. And I was like, well, maybe I should go get my license because, it's going to help me find the deals. And I remember talking to a broker, and this was funny. I remember talking to the broker. She was a Caldwell broker agent, which you don't see a lot of blacks as a Caldwell broker agent, right? And she had a Caldwell brokerage, and she said, I really wish I could find somebody who wanted to sell $1 million property. So in my mind, you done seen all of the shows on TV. They're selling, the $1 million property, selling Sunset and selling New York. I'm like, well, why wouldn't they want to sell though? She said her team was deathly afraid of selling those type of properties. So when I started to do my homework, I kind of knew why, because now you talking about people in another income bracket,
Mm-hmm.
their level of expectation of you as an agent is a lot more. And if you can't meet that level, you're not going to get that deal. So I understood that. But what I also understood, which made me decide not to go that way, was when I was looking for a house, I wasn't a pain in the butt, but it was like, yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that either. Oh, I don't like the way that looks either. I knew right then and there, if I had another me doing that all day long, I would lose my mind. So that was a no for me. So you got there. You went through the whole process to get your license. I stopped right at the door, like, yeah, that's gonna drive me crazy. Like, I'm not gonna do that.